Hello, adventurers. Now let us explore this concept of dungeon mastery being one of the oldest arts to have existed. Is that truly possible? Could it have existed in some form that long ago? Well, let's dive into the notion of how it all could have happened. Imagine yourself being at the dawn of human speech. Now, human speech has been completed for your tribe. You have a good language to speak amongst yourselves. Of other things, you might have some tools and perhaps cave paintings at the time, but little else. Now, these humans are pretty much evolved as modern humans would be. They're not stupid, they're not primitive, they just don't have many things yet. It is the beginning. Things will come along, but people need to make them. Now, people being as they are, they have passions. You have your own. Since you were little, you loved watching epic battles between your skilled most hunters and tribe members versus interesting and dangerous beasts that you would all catch together for food or defend from being dangerous predators. However, you like observing more than per se fighting yourself. You don't know whether you would have been as physically good maybe as some other tribes members. Maybe you would, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but you love the gist of it. You love absorbing everything about it. You love remembering every battle in detail and telling everybody about it and retelling everything that has happened from as glorious of angles as you can possibly muster. Now, since you have been doing this since you were a small child and gotten pretty good at devising theories and strategies and so on about the combat that will ensue, hunting parties now ask you for advice occasionally, and you certainly did give it to them even when they didn't ask previously, even sometimes at personal danger, but now your opinion has grown to be somewhat valued and known throughout the small village, if we would even call it that. Then, later on, when you gain enough respect from your advice that has worked, and your wisdom is appreciated widely in your community, you've been named something we can call a tribe's shaman, but maybe it's not even that at the time. Certainly a wise person of sorts to sit down and give advice and be listened to for your wealth of knowledge, not to mention carefulness and care, because you loved your work and certainly you loved sharing it, so your care and advice have been obvious for a while now, and now your also carefulness has paid off. You've been alive more than most of those hunters, and now you can regale everyone of tales of the best ones to have ever lived in anybody's memory. As such, you become a storyteller, and since this is a very important responsibility, you develop archetypical stories and legends. Why? Well, life is as precious then as it is now, maybe arguably more so to people who know so little people else than themselves. Extinction is at the door every day. And yet, to die in myriad ways is easy. So, what do you need to do? When you teach, you need to teach well. So well that just being a storyteller is not enough for you. You spend some sleepless nights thinking about this, correcting your mistakes, refining your craft, becoming better and better, and that's how your myths come to be. But as you've taught now several generations and are becoming older and older, wiser and wiser, and have more experience, you realize not everybody is the same. Not everybody takes those lessons the same way. So, in pressure and ingenuity, you let them have a bit more interactive of an adventure. You tell a legend and say, the hunter came to a bush and beheld a bird. It spoke to him, but did he listen? And some brash young hunter may say, of course not, he threw the spear at it, piercing it instantly. You ask the other children, what do you all think? And if there's not much to be said else, then you teach them through your interactive adventure. You let them propose what actions they live into, what they think would happen based on their experiences. When the young hunter says that he would chuck the spear at the bird. But then you correct them by the story. You say, the bird easily dodged his spear and disappeared. It was a great spirit. A chuckle came from all around him. A voice continued to mock him. The bird would not offer him assistance, and he would spend the next 3 nights hungry and bare, at the worst of weathers, soaked in rain with nowhere to shelter. And as such, you teach them a lesson, but not a lesson they would hate, a lesson that would just give them hope to do better. You refine this art. You get better and better. And now all of your legends are new every time you tell them. They are new for everyone. They teach the best things. They teach about the worst things. They teach how to avoid them. They teach of life. Of course, you know that this mustn't end with you, so you take on apprentices. At least one apprentice. Somebody needs to learn how to do it, and then you teach, and eventually, hopefully you have an apprentice that will do the same. But, unfortunately, not everybody has such a great passion to be a good dungeon master, to lead an adventure. Not everybody has awakened their talent yet. People have other work to do. Sometimes a great hunger comes by and nobody's ready. People have to do other things. People die. Things happen. So, your best legends are remembered by everybody, and storytellers abound everywhere, being the best and brightest source of entertainment. But your position, the mystery of, shall we still call them, even so back through time, a dungeon master, it is a mysterious job that will not be publicly known what it does and how it came to be for centuries and centuries to come. However, you know for yourself, and maybe even your apprentice knows, that you are a great hero to your people, as much as anyone, or even all of them combined, in the myth that you have told. Not because you're overly proud of yourself, though certainly you're a proud person, being able to defend your people from disaster for so long. No, it's because you had to be, and because you loved to be, and because you wanted all the best for them. You wanted all the best for your players, and that's why you became the best dungeon master that you needed to be, even though nothing and nobody except your passions and surroundings taught you. So that's what I think happened. Is it possible that it didn't? Is it possible that nobody did this? I've personally read folk tales that are meant to evoke such responses and do such things to the audience and are over 1,000 years old. Now that's not anything close to this time scale, but as we go further back and back, we don't have written records, so what do you all think? Was I correct? Did we have ancient cave folk dungeon masters that did this of their own free will because they had passion for observation, for myth, for legend, and then they told it to their people so that they preserve their impressions, their expressions, their hopes, their dreams, so that they teach, so that they convey everything that they've noted of importance? Certainly we know they were listened to, because even ordinary storytellers were very much respected and listened to. It's only a matter of whether such passions were at all common or not. But I believe at least one or so existed here and there throughout the history everywhere. So, adventurer, if you thought this was unique, maybe you can spare me a click so that I have apprentices and the tradition continues. Maybe I could even see you here next or even every week, because I certainly have that much content for you. I'm M, and welcome to the DM table.